Wow, I can't believe it. It seems like just yesterday that I was out there sitting in these seats for the very first time. And what was going through my mind then was, what am I doing here? I had just dragged my brother along with me too because I was too afraid to come to this thing on my own. I don't know, maybe somebody has dragged you here. And you're thinking, okay, I'll give this 5 minutes. I mean, I'm good, life is good, and what the hell are we going to do for 3 days? Or maybe you've come here because you're looking for something. Not a concrete thing, but something, a feeling. You don't quite know what that feeling is, but you just know something tells you there's more. Hi, I'm Trish Leptic, and I met Dov Barron 5 years ago when I walked into his office. Now, at that time, I had no expectation that this man would be able to do anything for me. I mean, unless he could change reality. So I began to tell him a little bit about myself, and I explained how my husband Steve and I really had found abundance in every area of life. Every year we were making more money, and I thought I had everything I wanted. So why was I here? Well, everything had leveled off, plateaued, and was starting to slip downhill. Not just my finances, but my relationship with Steve. I felt like we were roommates rather than soulmates. And it was then that I found myself getting more and more fearful. And I would lie in bed at night, terrified, and I would lose everything. Now, I don't know if you've ever felt this level of fear or what your fears might be, but if you have, then you know it's a horrible feeling. And I was getting more and more uptight. One day, I woke up and I looked in the mirror and all I could see were defects. I had disappeared. I was hiding behind my husband and I had lost my voice. No, I had no idea what my purpose on this planet was and certainly didn't consider if I was fulfilling it. And if you had told me back then that I would be standing here talking to all of you, I would have bolted. As well, when I walked into Dov's office that day, I wouldn't have guessed that he had been born in England, in a ghetto back in the late 1950s. Why? Well, just meeting him, I was struck by his style, his expensive clothing, his shoes, not to mention those earrings. He looked like he just walked out of GQ magazine. And when he spoke, he didn't sound like he'd come from somewhere on the wrong side of the tracks in a hard life. See, at a young age, even as a child, Dov had become fascinated by the undercurrent of human psyche. And at the age of 21, his curiosity led him to leave England and travel, studying many different spiritual philosophies under a variety of spiritual mentors. In 2002, after extensive research in the areas of spiritual philosophy, psychology, and quantum theory, Dov completed his dissertation in the field of consciousness studies with the subject of personal emotional quantum resonance fields. Now, I didn't have a clue what that was back then. But since then, Dov has developed a multiple of learning systems, and he is the author of many best-selling books, including his most recent book, Don't Read This Unless You Want More Money. Besides his next to impossible to get into counseling practice, Dov is the host and executive producer of the Accidental Guru Show, as well as the Mind Mastery Show with over 70,000 listeners worldwide. He still finds time in his schedule as mentor and advisor to corporate, creative, and personal leaders. And his corporation, the Barron Mastery Institute, is the only resource training leaders in the implementation of the core Affluence system for leadership. His core Affluence system teaches the power to generate affluence, keep it, grow it, while giving you the competitive edge and nurturing your soul. Dov has spent over 2 decades developing a system that takes people like you and I from success to fulfillment and fulfillment to leaving a legacy. I've really gotten to know Dov in the last 5 years, and my heart is full of gratitude for him. By enrolling in the core Affluence system, I really did change my reality. I am living the life of my dreams. My old fears are gone, and I'm living in a place of power.